tighten it. Little bit to be tightened a little. Pause down. All right. I bow to all the seekers of truth. At the very outset, we have to know that truth is what it is. It cannot be changed, it cannot be challenged, and it cannot be described. Truth is beyond your mind. You have already heard that the divine has created a beautiful instrument within you, which exists in all the human beings. Maybe because of different times, maybe some of the incarnations didn't talk about it, but most of them have talked about it. For example, Christ has said that you have to be born again. Also in the Bible it is said, I'll appear before you like tongues of flames. These are the centers about which you have heard. For the last 25 years I have been working on people with Sahaja Yoga. I have found it such a tremendous thing that it is not easily believed in. Especially for people who are superficial, who just read books and feel satisfied. All those people who are critical of everything. Those who do not have open mind, like scientists, or some of them who are, I must say, are idiots, or maybe mad, or maybe mesmerized. But for a person who is ardently seeking, honestly seeking the absolute truth, Kundalini, about which you have heard, has to be awakened, no doubt about it. There's no compromise on that. Today we see these flowers here. You know that they had to plant a seed in the Mother Earth, and the primule had to come out of the seed, and then the plant was created. In the same way, we too have a primule. There's no other way out. It has to be Kundalini awakening. There are so many cults nowadays. You have heard of one very dangerous one. They are all money oriented. Even the religions are money oriented, or they are power oriented, or maybe they are also sex oriented. Cults are little worse than that, I should say, because they have no binding force. But all these outside religions have not given us what was promised, what was said. So we have to ask the question, what we have been doing, our forefathers have been doing, all kinds of rituals, all strictness, everything. Why is it we haven't got that higher state which is described? Of course, in Indian scriptures it is very vividly, clearly talked about. But there too, people would not accept it. There was a great poet who wrote in Marathi language, because about Kundalini was written 14,000 years back, then in the 6th century, and Adi Shankaracharya wrote. But even when in the 12th century, this great poet Ganeshwara wrote about Kundalini. They just tortured his life. Tortured him, tortured his sister, brothers, everyone who were full of knowledge. So, he went into permanent samadhi, they say, living samadhi at the age of 23 years. But the books he has written are of such high level spirituality that's so joy-giving and so beautiful. But what people did to him is today again they have started doing to reality. Instead of saving people, telling them what is written in these books and what were the incarnations who wrote, instead of helping them to ascend, because this is a special time which they don't realize. They are so busy with their organization, so busy with discussions, arguments. Now recently, as you know, there has been a horrible declaration that a person whose genes are not all right cannot be condemned. So what is the use of any religion? What is the use of having any federal laws? It's all absurd. Scientists also come to conclusions which are stupid. Actually, genes have, as I must tell you a little bit scientifically, has a database. And this is in a series because there's nitrogen, phosphate, and carbohydrates in a cell. And these series, if they change, then people take to perversity, to wrong type of life. But if they are all right, then a person is a normal person. According to the scientist, they are born with it, they are inherent, they are genetic. It's not true. It's not absolutely true. They may be. But many people you know say, if your son, you send to some place in America, he can get spoiled completely. His genes can be changed. A father who is a drunkard, his son may not be a drunkard. It's so obvious. Even the chromosomes which are responsible for our body growth can be changed. If somebody is a hot-tempered person, his face will change from his childhood to this, look like a monster. If a person is a monster, and if he comes to Sahaja Yoga, he looks like an angel. What happens? Actually, in Sahaja Yoga, the series of these series of these different things, see, if they are changed, if they are disturbed, are corrected completely. How? The Kundalini that is within you, she nourishes. She gives the balance. She understands. She knows you. She knows all your past. She is your individual mother. And she corrects. We have people here, I must tell you today, we have people who have been criminals, who have been drug addicts of the worst type, who have been drunkards, who have been also, we can say, like prostitutes, adulterers. All sorts of people came to Sahaja Yoga, and they are like angels. Believe me, they have become like angels. They don't have to fight anything. They have become, means it's an actualization of the experience. It's not just talk, and go and read this book and go and read that book. No. It's beyond words. Adi Shankaracharya has called as Shabda Jalam, meaning the web of words. Oh, Mother, take me out of these web of words. Now, all chaotic conditions are existing. You don't know what's happening in this world now. I mean, 50 years back, it was not such a bad world. But what has happened with all this advancement, with all this growth, with all this science, where are we? We don't know ourselves. We say this is my body, this is my intelligence, these are my emotions. But who is the owner of this mind? What is that? And that is what we have to become. That we have to become the spirit. It's not like having a certificate, having a born again. It's just a false certificate. When you are born again, what you feel, you know that now, that you feel this all-pervading power of divine love. It is love. It is compassion which you feel. Actually, a human being is at the epitome of evolution. He is so beautiful and so glorious, so lovable. But we have made him into a sex point. This Mr. Freud and this Sartre and all these people, they have reduced you to this level and we accept it. All this we accept. Have we got no brains to understand? Have we got no personality to understand? That we just get driven to all these mad people telling you anything? So, I have to tell you that human beings are so much ready to be in the kingdom of God. They have to just enter in. They have to have just willingness to do it. You cannot force it on anyone. Can you force a seed to produce a tree? Cannot. It's a living process of our evolution, and now this is the last breakthrough that we have to achieve. But people are so much lost. There was one gentleman who had written a book about the last breakthrough, this, that, and when I met him, I found he's completely finished. You can't give him realization. He's lost with the words. He wrote such a book, but he's not seeking the truth. You should not accept anything which has not given you the absolute truth. With Sahaja Yoga, you know absolute truth. How? You put your hands out when you have got your realization. You can feel on your fingertips your centers. Then you can feel the centers of others also. It's not only that you feel the centers of your own, but also of others. Because a new dimension has come in human awareness, which we call as collective consciousness. It is to be actualized. It has to work out. But if you go on, say, challenging, it won't. Why not have it? You don't have to pay anything for it. It's a living process. How much do we pay to the Mother Earth? We are so much used to payment. Even in the church, even in the temple, even in the mosque, everywhere, we think we should pay. People don't understand that this is a living process of divine love. How much are we going to pay for love which is divine? So first of all, we should give up this idea that you have to pay for something. Then secondly, you have to understand that seeking is not through ritualism. You stand on your heads, or you hit somebody, or you do all kinds of these tantrums. There's no need. You are to be respected. You have to be respectable. When you want your freedom, you don't have to do anything. It just works out. Believe me, it works out. No credit to me either. No obligation to. It's your own. Only thing we can say that in my presence it works out. But then in your presence it will work out also. That is how now, do you know, Sahaja Yoga is spreading in 65 nations. And these democracies where we are living, thinking very, very free people, we are not. Just face it. We are not. Because we are possessed by money, we are possessed by materialism. But in Russia I was surprised, where we should say the government was horrible and they were suppressed and all that, but people have no sense of possessiveness. And they are the best, even they are scientists. About 250 people came, scientists, and told me, Mother, we'd like to hear what you have to say. I started on science. I thought better take them to science, otherwise how will they follow me? You'll be amazed. They said, no more science. We know all that. You tell us the science of God. So this materialism has crippled us completely. We want to possess this, possess that. They do not. They were told that you can have your flats. Government is willing to give you your houses and flats. We don't want to look after them. They said, we don't want. We don't want any flats. We don't want any house. Nothing. Because we can't look after them. Can you imagine? So in a way, that curse of communism has improved them, and this blessing of democracy has created democracy. I can see it clearly. You go to Russia, is very different. You see people who are really absolutely pure. How is it in those horrible circumstances, with those sufferings that they have had, they have come out so well, and how they can understand that they have to find out the truth. About everything you can find out whether it is absolute truth or not. The main point is, if you don't have the absolute truth, any idea you can fix up in your head and start doing wrong things. Like Hitler. He got the wrong idea into his head, saying that, it's funny, that the Jews must be killed. Now, he started killing the Jews. But imagine. And he said that they are a superior race. By what measure are they superior? By what measure? If somebody is superior in this world, what we think of saints who are superior to us. But these people killed small children in the gas chamber and watched it. How can they be superior race? So get some idea into their heads that this is something we are great, we are a superior race, we are chosen ones, we are on the path of Christ. All wrong. Just believing into yourself in a wrong way, we can go to hell directly. First of all, know who you are. If you don't know who you are, how can we decide? How can you see the truth? Because you are not yourself. You might be Mr. Freud, you might be Mr. Sartre, you might be somebody else. Are you yourself? This is the most important. I'm happy you all are here and you are seeking the truth. This is the greatest blessing of modern times, that people are, so many of them are seeking the truth. But you should not be misled. One gentleman who's writing some very frivolous books about, about all kinds of nonsense. And he came to our program, I think. And he wrote that I was waiting and waiting for 1 hour, but Sri Mataji never came, because that's the style we have. First we have to prepare your mind, little bit soothe it down, because you are now coming from all kinds of problems. So just to soothe it down, we work it out for 1 hour, like that. It's compulsory. But here in this place, one fellow writes against me, saying she never came. And then she said, you take out your shoes, that settle it. That's the biggest crime I have told him to do. As if I have told him to kill somebody or what. So if you're such frivolous people, how will it work out? You see, it's not meant for frivolous people. I must say that so many have now got this realization and are settling, just like beautiful gems in Sahaja Yoga, so many, that I'm sure there will be many more who will be coming. Because first time when I came to England, I had to struggle with 7 of them for 4 years. And here you will get your realization in no time, I know that. Because on the whole, it has, from all the side, is grown, even in England. So one has to understand that you don't belong to anyone, but you belong to the kingdom of God. And once you enter there, there are so many miracles that take place that you will be amazed. People have written letters after letters, Mother, this miracle took place, that miracle took place. And I told somebody, Mama, you write it down, all this, in a book. Within 1 month, he tells me, this has gone over my head now, both piles. Now you select and tell me what to write. I said, better not. Better not write. It's absolutely not necessary. When people will see themselves and enjoy themselves, they will get the best. I don't know how to tell you some miracles that have taken place in Sahaja Yoga. It's impossible even to think that such miracles can take place. There was a lady in Mexico. This is the latest. She was working in UN in America, where she met me. And she became a great Sahaja Yogini. She had great faith in herself. real faith. And when she went to her son, he was suffering from a disease which is quite inherent and is absolutely fatal. Most of the people in her family got it at a very later age, but this boy got it when he was studying. And she was quite worried. It's very surprising. She wrote to me 3 letters, Mother, what should I do? Should I bring this boy there? He's so young. Or should I come to you? All kinds of things. I was very busy for these 3 weeks. She wrote 3 letters. 4th letter came on the 4th week that mothers amazingly, they took his examination and test and all were negative, is completely cured. I mean, I didn't do anything. I didn't do. It's the divine which looked after her because it became like a challenge. I don't know how. And the child is completely cured. It's a fact. I'm not telling you a lie. And I don't want to tell you. But I'm just telling you so that you should also try to accept that you have to accept. Only this much. You have to accept that you have to accept. That will work out tremendously. There are so many things that happen as a result of your inner awakening. Your attention becomes enlightened. With the attention, you can cure yourself and cure others also. Your attention becomes very pure. What Christ has said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Such eyes just start shining. You have seen people, they are so much changed, I can't believe it. They wrote letter of confessions. I never read them. I burnt them. Some of them I read. I said, oh, wow. They were about to be finished. And they are cured. They are all right. And they are such beautiful. We have to think that we have no possibility of having peace within ourselves, peace in the country, and the global peace. We cannot have. Why? Because we haven't felt our peace so far. So, how can we have global peace? But once this happens, such friendship, such love between each other, such pure love. I am amazed how these people from 65 countries love so much. I'm very proud of them, very proud. And they have specially come here, about 150 of them from all over the world, just to be present with the British Sahaja Yogis. It's really remarkable, and I'm very happy that they felt this responsibility. I'll tell you another thing, that the Germans in Austria felt their responsibility that they should look after the people from Israel, the Jews. So they went to Israel. Can you imagine these Germans going there? Can they ever think of that? And first time when I went to Russia, it was the Germans who first came, dashing their mother. This is our place where we have to work with you. It's so nice to see the beauty of human nature coming up. We have so many beautiful people, I don't know how to describe them. Their beauty shows every moment, and their greatness, their generosity, their sweetness. All our enemies drop out. Lust and greed, all these drop out. We become a beautiful person. So why not have it? But apart from that, when you are enlightened, you are like one candle which is enlightened. And one candle can enlighten many people. That's how Sahaja Yoga is spreading. You will know that you can give realizations to others. You can cure people. You have the power, and that is all awakened. And once you get that, you will know you are not an ordinary person. You are a special person who has got all this quality, full of peace, joy, and feeling for the whole world. We have to now think on a global level. We cannot think on a smaller level and fight. Just now I met a great religious leader of Shias, and he was telling me that people are fighting even in England among themselves. That's the stupidity, I said. They justify it by saying that the Muslims are fighting among themselves, and you justify that they are fighting among themselves. If somebody is doing wrong things, must you do that? Is there a justification for that? This went into his head, and he is willing to help us very much in solving the problem. But there's one thing about these religions, that they think they are an exclusive religion, which they are not. If you see, Muhammad Sahib himself has written about Abraham, he has written about Moses, he has written about Christ, and his mother, especially, he has respected his mother much more than in the Bible. Because Bible was written by this horrible fellow Paul, and he must have tried to bring a bad name to her, saying she's a woman. Can you imagine? She is a goddess, and calling her a woman. But later on, people, must be the influence of the pagan religion, that they called her as Madonna. They called her, not in the Bible. So all these things have happened to these so-called authentic books also, because it was placed into wrong hands. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with Christ. No, not at all. But to understand Christ, you have to be born again. To understand Muhammad Sahib, you have to be born again. To understand any one of them, you have to be born again, because you haven't got that subtle understanding that you get as a realized soul. It's not at all difficult. But what happens, you might get your realization here tonight. Maybe. All of you may get. But then you get lost. Because this Kundalini, which is in the triangular bone, rises, but again it goes back to cure you, to help you, to solve your mental problems. She does all these things all the time, so you have to keep her out. You have to keep her connected with this all-pervading power. For that, you have to meditate. You don't have to do anything else but to give little time to yourself. If you can't give any time to yourself, what's the use? What's the use of getting your realization? It reminds me of the parable of Christ, where he says that some seeds fell on the street and some fell on the marsh, and they were sprouted and finished. So you have to respect very much your self-realization. Unless and until you respect your self-realization and go ahead with it, you will not grow. But the best thing that will happen to you, that once you start meditating, you'll reach a state of thoughtless awareness, where you will be in the present, which is the reality, and you will grow. You will grow into beautiful things. It has happened with thousands, so why not with you people? Why shouldn't it happen with you, that you should grow into Sahaja Yoga? When I come, I see the whole hall is filled. When I go away, they tell us, follow on, mother, only 5 people came. So it's like my lecture becomes like any guru shopping. You see, oh, all right, let's today go and see mother, because after all, we cannot go out to the sea. It's all so clouded. So better try this one, we might enjoy. That's not the way. It's a serious thing. It's very important for you. You'll get rid of all your horrible diseases, all your troubles, everything, if you really try to be growing in Sahaja Yoga. Otherwise, after some time somebody comes, mother, I've got cancer. Cancer can be cured. We have cured cancer, blood cancer, I assure you. We have done that. So many things have been cured without going to the doctors, without going to the hospital. I don't mean that we'll cut the income of the doctors. They shouldn't be worried, because all the rich people are for them. They can take that much money as they like. They can do what they like. But for people who are in the middle path, who are seeking the truth, they don't have to pay, because they are seeking the truth. They are not seeking the money. So they can get their relief from any kind of disease. And we can show you medically how it works. It can brought down to the medical level, because I studied medicine for the same reason, because I had to talk to doctors. And I found that medical science is very limited. It cannot go beyond a certain point. There are so many things which cannot be answered by medical science, which can be easily answered if you become a surgeon. I mean, you have already heard such beautiful songs. Most of them are English. Now, to tell English, to even say one sentence in Hindi was a big headache. So my father used to tell me, never teach Hindi to any Englishman. It's very difficult. But today I see these Englishmen singing even Sanskrit songs over. How their tongues are twisting, because Sanskrit is a big tongue twister. How they have picked up the song, the music, I'm amazed at them. Some of them never knew how to sing even. How they have gone up like that. It's so heartfelt joy from them. And I'm sure all of you will get your realization. Seriously think about it and grow in it. I think there are many centers in England, especially in London, and you can go to these centers and learn from them. The only thing is, we are not very moneyed people, we are not very interested in money. So all our centers are placed in very ordinary things, somewhere in the school, somewhere like that. Doesn't matter. Those who are seekers, whether they are rich or poor, whether they are middle class, everybody is just the same in the eye of God. So you have to humbly go and develop yourself. You can save the world. England is the heart of the universe. You don't know that. It circulates everywhere. Any small thing happens in England, circulates. But the media is so horrible that sometimes I feel they are suffering from angina or what. This media can be corrected once they know the reality and work it out. So, your ascent is very important to me. When I have gone up and down fully from the north to south, east to west, in all directions in England, because it's very important. People somehow or other are in circulation with the British. So British have a special responsibility that they should not publish something nonsensical without verifying it. Nor they should do something nonsensical here. Because everything more than America is accepted from England, very surprising. So the responsibility of the English is much more than anybody else, I feel, but I don't know how many are going to see this responsibility. Now we have many immigrants also from India, because English were there for 300 years. So automatically there are immigrants. But they are so bound by pounds. They are just collecting pounds. They don't remember from where they come, what is their tradition, what they have to seek, nothing. So you will find very few Indians, because they are uprooted people. And they are here, they have forgotten their tradition. But that doesn't mean that Sahaja Yoga is something partial. It is not. It's open to all of you. All of you are very much respected and wanted to come to Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja Yogis are trying their level best to spread Sahaja Yoga. There's no conversion, there's no branding, nothing. But what happens is that you become a spiritual personality so easily without going into any problem. So easily. Isn't it such a remarkable discoveries there which can change the whole world? So I put more responsibility on the English to do it more, accept it more, not only to my lecture, but to come up with something that is substantial for your country and for the whole world. So thank you very much. Just a minute, where are you going? Just a minute. Now you come to take your realization, not to listen to my lecture only, did you? Please. I have already told you that you are beautiful people. very beautiful. But you must have respect for yourself. You have to love yourself and understand that you have to get your realization. You have to. It's very important. The most important thing for you is not to get a lottery, but to get your self-realization. This is like some Sahaja Yogis who go on falling down. All right. Now again, I have to request you to take out your shoes. I hope you don't mind. So that you are in contact with the Mother Earth. Those who are sitting on the chair, please take out your shoes. Now, as you know, there are two powers within us. Please keep both your feet apart from each other. Come forward. Just have, as I said, respect for yourself. You should not suffer from any inferiority complex. So, before we start, I'll have to tell you that there are three conditions which are very simple, logically. The first one is that you should not feel guilty at all about anything. As in the Catholic religion, you have to confess. You don't have to confess anything to me. I know you very well. So, now, you should have a very pleasant attitude towards yourself, of not anger or of guilt. If you feel guilty, then this center here on the left-hand side gets into trouble, and you get spondylitis, you might get angina, you might get lethargic organs. But guilt is a myth, because when you committed a mistake, you should have faced it and finished with it. You cannot carry it all your life. I know one gentleman who once used spoon and fork in a different way, and all the time he used to tell me, I felt very guilty in England because I didn't know how to use spoon and fork. Can you imagine? All this nonsensical thing which are of no importance. Anything you have done at this moment here is forgiven, because this divine power is the ocean of forgiveness. It's forgiven. So please forgive yourself, and please don't feel guilty. This center, if it is out of order, how will poor Kundalini push through? Now, the second important thing is that you have to forgive everyone. Not to think about whom you have to forgive. Now, some people say it's very difficult, Mother, it's too much for us. What is it? Whether you forgive or you don't forgive, what do? Nothing. But if you forgive, at least you don't play into wrong hands. All your life you have tortured yourself by not forgiving. So now at this moment, you must forgive. Forgive from your heart. Everyone, in general, not to think even about them. Third one again, I have to tell you that you have to take out your shoes. Some people have objection for this also, that Mother asks us to take out our shoes. I didn't say take out your crown, I said take out your shoes. There's nothing so great. So be in a very pleasant mood to have this ascent into the kingdom of the God. You have never felt this all-pervading power of divine love, which is the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost, as they say. And even in the scriptures written by Adi Shankaracharya described, Salilam, Salilam. He calls it Saundarya Lahari. He calls it the waves of beauty. But he describes them at Salilam, Salilam meaning cool and cool. But it's not very cool also. It is very nourishing and extremely soothing feeling that you get when you get connection. So, for that, you have to have these three conditions I have told you. Now, both the feet have to be apart from each other because these are two powers, left and right. And the left and right powers, because there are two powers, keep your feet separately. So your left side problems and right side problems can be taken away by the Mother Earth. That's all. You have to do nothing more. Now, please put both your hands like this towards me. Now, these are the fingers, and here the sixth and the seventh point, which are our seven centers on the left-hand side, in the same way we have on the right-hand side. Left-hand side, we can say left side looks after our emotional side, and the right side our mental activity and our physical activity. You put your both the hands like this. Now, you have to close your eyes and please don't open them till I tell you. But before that, I will show you how you have to place your right hand, which is for action, and the left hand like this towards me. With this right hand, you have to put them on different centers, nourishing your own centers. Maybe many must be already feeling the cool breeze in that. Many must be. But still, you do it, it will be better. So now, we'll show you. First, you have to put your right hand on the heart. In the heart resides the spirit. If you become the spirit, you become your own master, your own guide, because you get the light of the spirit and you know what it is. Then you put your right hand, the upper portion of your abdomen, on the left hand side. This is the center of your master. This you will learn much more when you will come to the centers. They'll explain to you much better. Now, take your right hand in the lower portion of your abdomen on the left hand side. Now, this is the center. You hold it. This is the center which is surprisingly is for the pure divine knowledge. Now you take your hand upward onto the left hand side of your abdomen on the upper part. Now, take this right hand on your heart. Now you put your right hand in the corner of your head, neck and your shoulder. Now turn your head to your right. This is the center I've already told you. When it goes into jeopardy, you get diseases. So, this is the center when you feel guilty, it goes into trouble. Now, take your right hand on top of your forehead across and put down your head as far as possible. This is the center for forgiving others without thinking about them in general. Now, take the right hand on the back side of your head and push back your head as far as possible. This is the center where you have to ask forgiveness from the divine power for your own satisfaction. Now, stretch your palm fully. Stretch your palm fully. And put the center of your palm on top of the fontanelle bone area, which was a very soft bone. Don't worry about your hairdress. Please put the hand nicely pressing. So you push back your fingers. So there's a good pressure on your fontanelle bone area. Now this you have to move slowly 7 times clockwise. Bend your head, please. You can take out your spectacles if you like and bend your head and move your hand slowly clockwise 7 times. That's all. Now you have to close your eyes. Please close your eyes. Now put your right hand on top of your hand and left hand towards me and both the feet apart from each
حالا
other.
دست راستتان را روی قلبتان بگذارید و دست چپ را به سمت من بگیرید و پاها را جدا از هم قرار دهید.
Here you have to ask me a very fundamental question about yourself.
باید یک سوال اساسی را
You
از
have
من
to
راجع
ask
به
me
خودتان
3
بپرسید.
times in your heart. You
باید
can call
3
me
بار
mother, you
درون
can call me
قلبتان
Srimati.
بپرسید.
Mother, am I the spirit?
می توانید
Ask this
مرا
question
مادر یا
3 times.
شریماتاجی صدا کنید. مادر، آیا من روح هستم؟
In your heart, not loudly.
این سوال را 3 بار بپرسید. درون قلبتان بگویید، نه بلند.
Now, I've told you that if you become the spirit, you become your own master. So please take your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen on the left
به
hand
شما
side.
گفتم که اگر روحتان شوید استاد خودتان خواهید شد. پس دستتان را بر قسمت
Here.
بالایی شکمتان در سمت چپ قرار دهید.
You have to ask another fundamental question.
اینجا یک سوال
3
مهم
times.
و اساسی دیگر
Mother,
بپرسید.
am I my own master?
3 بار بگویید مادر، آیا من استاد خودم هستم؟
I have to tell you that I cannot force self-realization on you. You have to ask for it.
باید بگویم که من نمیتوانم
So
خودآگاهی
now
را به شما
we
تحمیل
take our
کنم.
right
شما باید
hand
آن
in
را
the
درخواست
low
کنید.
portion of our abdomen.
حالا دست راست را بر قسمت پایین شکم سمت چپ بگذارید.
And here you have to ask for
اینجا
pure
باید دانش
divine
پاک الهی را درخواست کنید.
knowledge.
پس به تعداد
So
گلبرگ
ask 6
های این
times
چاکرا
because
که
this
6
center
عدد
has got
است
6
6 بار
buttons.
بپرسید.
Mother, please give me pure divine
مادر
knowledge.
لطفاً دانش پاک الهی را به من بدهید.
Humbly you must ask, not demanding, but humbly.
باید این را با تواضع درخواست کنید، نه به صورت طلبکارانه، بلکه با فروتنی این را بخواهید.
Now, raise your right hand in the upper portion of your abdomen on the left hand
دست
side.
راست را بالا بیاورید و بالای شکم سمت چپ قرار دهید.
As soon as you asked the pure divine knowledge, the Kundalini has started rising, and we have to
به
open
محض
these
اینکه این دانش
centers
پاک الهی را درخواست می‌کنید، کندالینی بالا می‌آید و ما باید این مراکز را با اعتماد به نفس خودمان باز کنیم.
Here you have to say with full self-confidence 10 times, Mother, I am my own master.
اینجا 10
Say it
مرتبه
10
با
times,
اعتماد به
please.
نفس بگویید مادر من استاد خودم هستم.
Which is a fact, which you will be. But you have to show your
که این یک واقعیت
readiness.
است و این چیزی است که خواهید بود، ولی شما باید آمادگی خودتان کنید.
I have already told you that you have to become the spirit. Because you are not this body, this mind, these emotions, this intelligence, these conditionings.
به شما
or
گفته
this
بودم
ego.
که باید روح خود
But
شوید،
you
زیرا
are
شما این
a
بدن،
pure
ذهن،
spirit.
احساسات،
So
هوش،
raise
قید و
your right
شرطها،
hand
منیت یا
on top
غرور و
of
ایگو
your
نیستید.
heart now and say it 12 times with full confidence, Mother, I am the pure spirit.
بلکه روح پاک خود هستید. بنابراین دستتان را تا روی قلبتان بالا بیاورید و 12 بار با اعتماد به نفس کامل بگویید مادر من روح پاک خودم هستم.
This all-pervading power
این انرژی
is
همه
the
جا
ocean
حاضر،
of knowledge.
اقیانوسی از دانش و عشق و
It's
مهربانی و
the
رحمت
ocean
است.
of compassion and love, of bliss. But above all, it is the ocean of forgiveness.
ولی بالاتر از همه
So
اقیانوسی از
please
بخشش است.
forgive yourself. Whatever you have done in the past can
پس
be
لطفا
easily
خودتان را
dissolved by
ببخشید.
the
هر
power
کاری که در گذشته
of
کرده
this
اید به راحتی به
ocean
وسیله
of
قدرت این
forgiveness.
اقیانوس
So
بخشش
please raise
پاک
your hand
می‌گردد.
on the left-hand side of your shoulder, on the corner of your neck and the shoulder,
پس دست راست
and
را
turn
روی
your
شانه
head
چپ
to your right.
در گوشه بین شانه و گردن قرار دهید و سرتان را به سمت راست بچرخانید.
Here, you have to forgive yourself, and so you have to say, Mother, I am not guilty at all 16 times.
اینجا
Mother,
باید
I
خودتان
am
را
not
ببخشید
guilty
و
at all
باید
16
16
times.
مرتبه بگویید مادر من به
With
هیچ وجه
self-confidence
گناهکار
you have to
نیستم.
say that. Please say it. I feel again and again whenever we have programs here that this center is very badly affected in people, that they feel guilty.
بارها و بارها در برنامه‌های عمومی دیدم که در این مرکز مردم احساس گناه دارند.
I have already told you that whether you forgive or you don't forgive, you don't do anything.
به شما گفتم که
But
اگر
by not
ببخشید یا
forgiving,
نبخشید کاری
you
نمی
play
کنید.
into wrong hands. So, what's the use of torturing your life with this myth?
ولی با نبخشیدن به گمراهی
So now
کشیده می شوید.
please
پس فایده
place
اذیت
your
و آزار
right
زندگیتان با این
hand
توهم
on
چیست؟
top of your head and put down your head.
پس حالا دست راستتان را روی پیشانی بگذارید و سرتان را پایین بیاورید.
Not head on top, but we can say on top of your forehead. On top of your forehead. And now put down your head. Here you have to say from your heart, not how many times. I forgive everyone in general. Say it from your heart.
اینجا
not
باید
how many
از درون
times.
قلبتان بگویید، نه چندین بار. من همه را می
You'll
بخشم.
feel much
از درون
lighter.
قلبتان
Say it
بگویید.
from
تعداد
your heart,
مهم
please.
نیست. احساس سبکی بیشتری خواهید کرد. لطفاً از درون قلبتان
Now for
بگویید.
your own satisfaction, you have to ask forgiveness from
حالا
the
برای
divine
رضایت
power.
خودتان باید از خداوند
Not feeling
طلب
guilty,
بخشش کنید.
not counting your mistakes. So now please take your right hand, the back side of your head, and push back your head. as far as possible.
احساس گناه نکنید و
And here we
گناهان
have to
خود را
say,
نشمرید. دست راستتان را پشت سر بگذارید و تا جایی که ممکن است
O
سرتان را
divine
به عقب
power,
برگردانید
if I have done anything wrong, knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive me.
و
Now this
بگویید
also you have to
خدایا
say
اگر
from
دانسته
your
یا
heart,
ندانسته
not
هر کار اشتباهی انجام
counting
دادم
how many
لطفا
times.
مرا ببخش.
O divine power, if I have done anything wrong, knowingly or unknowingly, please forgive
این
me.
را از قلبتان بگویید. تعداد مهم نیست. خدایا اگر هر کار اشتباهی کردم دانسته یا ندانسته لطفا مرا ببخش.
Now the last center is very important. You have to stretch your palm fully and put the center of your palm on top of the
مرکز
fontanel.
آخر بسیار مهم است. کف دست راست خود را کاملا باز کنید و مرکز
Now
کف
please
دستتان را روی ملاج سرتان بگذارید.
understand that there has to be pressure on this fontanel bone area, which was a soft bone in your childhood.
حالا لطفا
Now push
متوجه
back your
باشید که بر
fingers
روی
so
ملاج
there is
سر
a
باید
nice
فشار
pressure
وارد کنید.
on
این
this
قسمت در
area.
زمان
And
کودکی
now
شما
put
نرم
down
بود.
your head.
انگشتانتان را کاملا به
Here
عقب
again
بدهید
I
تا
have to
فشار
say,
کافی به وجود
I
بیاید
cannot
و حالا
force
سرتان را خم
self-realization
کنید.
on you.
اینجا
You
دوباره
have to
میگویم که
ask
من
for it.
نمیتوانم
So
خودآگاهی را
now
به شما
please
تحمیل
put down
کنم.
your head
باید برای
and
آن درخواست کنید. پس لطفا
move your
سرتان را خم
scalp,
کنید و
not your
پوست
hand so
سرتان را
much as the
بچرخانید.
scalp.
دستتان را نه، بلکه پوست سرتان را بچرخانید.
7 times saying, Mother, please give me self-realization.
7 بار بگویید مادر لطفا خودآگاهی به من بده.
Now, please take down your hands slowly and
حالا لطفا
open your
دستانتان
eyes.
را به آرامی پایین
very
بیاورید
slowly.
و چشمان خود را به آرامی بگشایید. می توانید
You can
عینک
wear
هایتان
your
را به چشم
spectacles.
بزنید.
Put both the hands towards me, little higher, little higher.
دستانتان را کمی بالاتر به سمت من بگیرید.
Now please put the right hand towards me like this, and with the left hand you can see if there is
حالا
a
دست
cool
راستتان را به سمت من بگیرید و با دست چپ
hot
می توانید ببینید
breeze
که آیا
coming
یک
out
نسیم
of your
خنک
head.
یا گرم از بالای
Now
سرتان
don't
خارج می
doubt
شود.
because there's no air conditioner in your head.
شک
So
نکنید
just see
زیرا در
if
شما
there's
دستگاه
a
تهویه وجود
cool
ندارد.
bend your head or a hot breeze like thing is coming.
سرتان را خم کنید و ببینید آیا یک نسیم خنک یا گرم وجود دارد.
Some people get it very far, some people get it nearby, but don't touch
بعضی
your
آنها
head.
را
Keep
بالاتر
away
و
from
بعضی
it.
پایینتر احساس
No.
می کنند. ولی دستتان را به سر
Please
نچسبانید.
please put the left hand towards me. Now, put down your head again and see with the right hand if there's a cool or a
حالا
hot
دست چپ را به
breeze
سمت من
like
بگیرید.
vibrations are
سرتان را
coming
خم کرده
out
و
of
با دست
your
راست
own
ببینید
fontanel
آیا
bone
از
area.
منطقه ملاج سر
Now, it is
نسیم
hot
خنک یا
because
ارتعاشی از
either you have
سرتان
not
خارج می
forgiven
شود.
yourself or you have not forgiven others. So please do it now.
این نسیم گرم است زیرا یا خودتان را
Immediately it will
نبخشیده
become
اید و
cool.
یا دیگران را نبخشیده اید. پس حالا این کار را بکنید.
Stop. Now, again with the right hand again.
بلافاصله خنک‌تر می‌گردد. دوباره با دست راست انجام دهید.
See for yourself.
خودتان ببینید.
You can move your hand.
می توانید دستتان را حرکت دهید.
Now please put both your hands towards the sky
حالا
and push back
دستانتان را
your
به
head.
سمت آسمان بگیرید و سرتان را به عقب خم کنید.
Here you have to ask another question. Any one of these three questions, you have to ask one question 3 times in your heart.
اینجا سوالی را باید
Please
بپرسید.
ask.
از بین این 3 سوال یکی را 3 مرتبه تکرار کنید.
Mother, is this the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost?
مادر، آیا این نسیم خنک روح القدس
Second.
است؟
Mother, is this the all-pervading power of divine love?
مادر،
Which is
آیا این نیروی همه جا حاضر
Or
خداوند یا
mother, is
همان
this the
روح است؟
Parama Chaitanya? Ask any one of these questions 3 times.
مادر، آیا این پرامچایتانیا است؟ هر کدام را 3 مرتبه بپرسید.
Now, please bring down your hands.
حالا دستانتان را پایین بیاورید.
Again, put both the hands towards me.
دوباره دستانتان را به سمت من بگیرید.
Can you watch me without thinking?
می توانید بدون فکر به من نگاه کنید؟
Without thinking, can you watch? Because your attention reaches beyond your mind.
بدون فکر می توانید بنگرید، زیرا توجه شما ماورای افکارتان
Into
است
thoughtless awareness.
و در آگاهی بدون فکر است.
Some are feeling here, they should move it upward like that. Some are
بعضی در
feeling
پشت دست
from
احساس
down
می
below.
کنند. آن را اینگونه روی دست بیاورید.
All those who have felt cool or hot breeze on their fontanelle, through their fontanelle bone area, or
حالا همه
on their
آنهایی که
fingers,
نسیم خنک یا گرم را
fingertips,
بالای سر یا
or
روی
the
دست
palm,
یا
please
انگشتانتان
raise
حس
both
نموده
your
اید،
hands.
لطفاً دستانتان را بالا بگیرید.
All of you have got it.
همه شما آن را گرفتید.
So
بسیار
great.
عالی است. رحمت
May God
خداوند
bless you.
شامل حال شما بود.
May God bless England. So it's that. For about 5 minutes, we should have one bhajan written by a great poet in Maharashtra. He too lived there about the 16th century, and in the villages people have been singing this, but they don't know what it is. It is said that, "Oh mother, give me the yoga." Yogwa means the yoga. And I have done all my cleansing. I am just ready for it. So you give it to me. And they all sing there, but they don't know what they are singing. This is the problem. So one song, if you don't mind, we can have, and you can clap. It will help you to emit more vibrations. You have to promise me that after this, you are not going to be just sprouted seeds, but you are going to grow into big trees. Thank you.